Hello everyone, my name is Bhavna Singh. I am working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. This is an online tutorial on software engineering. So let's begin with today's session. Students, this is lecture 5 of unit 1, and in today's session we will cover all these topics, that is what is requirement documentation, what are its types, software requirement specification, that is SRS, what are the basic characteristics of SRS, and what are the various components of SRS. So let's get started with today's session. Now our first topic for today's session is requirement documentation. Students, before moving further, it is very much important for all of you to understand what is the meaning of this term requirement. Requirement is nothing but the information that the customer is providing to the system developer. Let's suppose customer, he explains all the things like what is the budget, at what time he wants his system, and what platform should be used, what programming languages should be used. So all these information that the customer is providing to the developer, these are known as requirements, on the basis of which the developer will be develop a software. And when the developer gets all the requirements from the customer, they maintain a document, they maintain a written document, which and that process is known as the documentation. Means they are gathering all the information from the customer, they are gathering all the requirements from the customer, and on basis of that requirements they are maintaining a particular document, so that they can pass it to the development team, and it will be easier for them to build the software product on the basis of those requirements. So this process is known as the requirement documentation. And as we can see from the definition also, that all the expected functionalities out of the application are documented in terms of requirements, and this document is called a requirement document. That means they are taking all the functionalities, all the information from the customer and maintaining a document, and this complete process is known as requirement documentation. Now there must be a question in all of your mind that what is the need of this documentation? Why do we need this? Because it describes all the things that we should do in developing a software, and all the requirements that we need to meet, or you can say fulfill the customer's need for the project. And any project, it cannot be completed, it cannot be implemented unless and until we have the proper requirements for this. Or in simple words, you can say that it is providing a complete basis for the software development project. Now there are 5 types of documentation. The first one is requirements. Requirements means it provides all the information regarding what should be the capabilities, what should be the characteristics, or you can say what should be the quality of a system. So this is providing the entire foundation of for what the system should implement, or for what the system should do. Then the second type is architecture, or you can say design. It provides the entire overview of the architecture or you can say it provides the entire blueprint of the system. That means it provides all the construction principles that we should use in the designing process. Then third one, we have technical documentation. Technical means it is related to the documentation of code, you can say, or the algorithms that the developer will use, or what should be the interfaces they should use. So all these things they cover under technical documentation. Then next one, we have end user. End user means the user that are using that system, and in that case they provides documentation for the end user in the form of manuals, you can say, or in the form of support system that will guide the end users to how to use that particular system. Then we have marketing. Marketing documentation, it provide help us to how to market that product, or how to analyze of the market demand, how to do the analysis of the market demand, and then we need to know how can we do the advertisements or the marketing of the particular product, so that more and more customers they get attracted towards it. Now let us study SRS in detail. SRS means Software Requirement Specification. It is a set of documents that contains the concise and clear specification of the functional, performance, design, and interface requirements of the proposed system. That means whatever the requirements the system analyst they have gathered from the customer, they have mentioned it in a particular document, and that document they are referring as a SRS, that is software requirement specification. And that SRS document, it contains everything like what is the budget, at what time the system should be delivered, and what should be the functional requirements, what should be the performance of the system, what are the designing constraints that we should use, what interface we should use, what platform we should use, what operating system, what programming languages. All these things they have mentioned in the SRS document. That means whatever requirements, whatever information they have collected from the customers, they mention all these requirements in this document, in this the that is the SRS document. And it is the medium through which the client and user requirements are accurately specified. That means the client and the system analyst, they are interacting with each other, and they are providing each other's requirements accurately, so that it will be easier to build the software product. Now we will study what is the need of an SRS document, why we use an SRS document. We use an SRS document because it provides a proper planning, and any project can't be implemented, can't be completed unless and until we do a proper planning for it. So therefore we need a SRS document, and we need to document all the requirements of the customers. The first one is it provides a framework. That means it is providing an entire basis for the project. It is providing a framework that every team should follow it, that you can say that every team, like the testing team, like the development team, like the designing team, they all follow this requirement documentation, so that on the basis of this requirements they can complete, or they can move further with their development process. Then second one is it provides critical information. That means it is providing information regarding all the things, regarding the performance, regarding the functionality, to all the multiple teams. You can say the development team, the quality assurance team, or the maintenance teams. So is this keeps everyone up to date, and they are getting all the information on the basis of this document only. Next, it helps to ensure requirements are fulfilled. That means using this SRS document, you can be ensured that the requirements are fulfilling, and the requirements are getting fulfilled according to customers' expectations. And it also can help you to make decisions about your product, about your product's life cycle, that when to retire a particular feature, when to update the feature. All these things they are provided by the SRS document. Then the next one is it minimizes overall development time. That means writing an SRS document, you are doing a proper planning by writing a SRS document, and further it decreases the time and it decreases the cost, because by writing a SRS document you are doing a proper planning before starting the development, and this will definitely help the development team to use this SRS document. So because on the basis of these requirements, on the basis of this document, they can start with their development process. Now we will discuss the characteristics of software requirement specification one by one. The first characteristics is completeness. Completeness means the SRS document that we are maintaining, it should be complete in all the aspects, and it should fully describe all the functionalities that is to be delivered by the system. That means it should contain all types of input that we are providing, and it should provide all the features, so that it will be easier for handling all the functions of the system. Then the second one, we have accurate. That means the SRS document should be correct, it should be accurate, and it should correctly describe all the functionalities that is to be built, and all the requirements that are provided by the customers or that are stated in the SRS document, they should be a true requirement of the system. Then the third characteristics is unambiguous. Unambiguous means it should not be confusing, or it should not, a single statement should not have multiple meanings. That means every stated requirements in the SRS document, it should have only one interpretation. One requirement should provide one meaning only. It should not provide multiple meaning, and it should not be confusing for the development team. Then next we have the consistent. Consistent mean it should be stable, it should not change from time to time. And if SRS document, that is all the subsets that are provided in the individual requirements, that should be stable to each other and should not, and there should not be any conflict in between them. Then the next characteristics is modifiable. Modifiable means that which is easy to modify. That means the SRS document that we are maintaining, it should be flexible enough so that in future if the customer wants to add some or more requirements to the system, or it wants to add some or more features, so it should be flexible enough that the changes we can acquire efficiently while maintaining its completeness or to maintain its consistency. So it should be modifiable. Then we have next characteristics as verifiable. Verifiable means it should be verifiable so that when the final product is built, when the development team it produces the final product, that product should meet all the requirements of the customer and should fulfill all the expectations that the customer was demanding in initially. So it should be verifiable. Then the next category is SRS document should be valid. That means it should be valid enough so that the all the teams like development team, like the senior team or the testing team, designing team, they should all follow it, and they should all understand or accept it, that the SRS document, all the points that are mentioned in this SRS document, they are valid enough so that on the basis of that document, on the basis of all those requirements that are mentioned in that document, they can be easily built and we can transform it into the technical requirements. Now, after understanding the characteristics of the SRS, we will study about the components that are making up the SRS document. The SRS document, it is divided into some sections and we will discuss each section one by one. The first section is the introduction part, and this introduction part, it describes the entire purpose of the document. It describes the scope of the requirement definition effort. That means it is providing us the entire overview of the entire product, and it is providing why we are using it, what is the scope of this, it will be feasible or not. And in the introduction part only, all the constraints, like you can say regarding the cost or regarding the scheduling time, all these constraints they are mentioned in the introduction part only. Then the second part, it contains the general description. That means it provides all the objectives and it describes all the requirements that are provided by the user, and it provides all the general characteristics of the users, like how the product that we are going to build, how it will be relate to other products, how it will be going to relate with its environment. So what are the various factors that can affect the product development? All these factors, they are described in this general description part. Now the next section, it describes the functional requirements, which describe every function that the system needs to perform along with the corresponding input and output. That means it is providing the entire behavior of the system. It is providing all the functional requirements that the system should complete, and the system should be stable enough, and how the system will respond in case if we provide any invalid input data, and what should be the input provided to the system, what should be the operations that we have to perform on these inputs, and what should be the corresponding output that can be expected from this system. So all these functionalities, they are provided in the functional requirement section. Then the next we have external interface requirements. This section, it describes all the possible interfaces of the software with the users, hardware, and with other software for input output. These are also provide the shared memory, library routines, etc. That means in this section, all the information, all the requirements regarding the interfaces, regarding the software, regarding the hardware, all these regarding the user manuals, or how they can provide the feedback, or how the user will be able to message us. So all these interfaces, basically how the user will interact, all these requirements, all these things, they are mentioned in this external interface requirement section. Now next session is the performance requirement session. In this session, all the requirements or all the information regarding the performance of the system, regarding how the system will perform, all these things, they are mentioned in this section. And all the things like quality, you can say, or the what will be the response time of the system, what will be the throughput. So all these basic things, they are mentioned in this performance requirement, and it can be easily analyzed from this section that whatever the software we are developing, will it be able to fulfill all the demands of the customer, or all the expectation that the customer is demanding from this particular system. So all these things, they are mentioned in this performance requirement. Then in the next session, that is the design constraint session, all the things like what operating we should use, operating system we should use, what programming languages we should use, or what languages will support this system, or what type of machine will support this kind of system. So all these things, they are mentioned in the design constraints. Then apart from this, we also consider the recovery requirements, like what happens if some failure occurs. In that case, how the system will respond, and what security features we should implement, so that to control the access data, or to we should use some passwords, etc., so that only the authorized person can use it. So all these features regarding the recovery, you can say, regarding the security, regarding the machine part, regarding the operating system, regarding the programming languages, all these things, they are mentioned in the design constraints. So in today's session, we have discussed about the requirement documentation and software requirement specification part, its characteristics and components. I hope you all must have understood the concepts, and this session was fruitful for you all. So now it's time for the important questions. First one is, what do you understand by SRS? Why it is required in software development process? So you have to explain what is the software requirement specification and why we need it while developing a product or in the development process. What are its importance? Then second question we have, what are the various components of SRS? In that you have to explain all the sections that we have covered in the component session. So these questions are important, and they have asked many times in the university exams also. So study them, as these are important from examination point of view also. So students, it was all about today, and with this session we have completed our unit 1. In the next session we will start with unit 2 of software engineering. Thank you so much for watching.